This is one RV video that you don't want to skip. This is probably one of the most controversial subjects of all of RV life. I get more comments about this on our channel than anything else that we get. What is the best RV toilet paper that you should be using? Don't go away. I know, I'm really not kidding. This is really an important subject, and I'm going to try to treat it as such. And one of the reasons that I'm even bringing this up, the only reason I'm bringing it up, is I'll go ahead and show you. Up here in the top, you'll see a card about maintaining your RV black tank. And wow, did that stimulate a lot of conversations. What type of toilet paper should I use? Why should I even use an RV grade toilet paper? Isn't RV toilet paper and septic safe? Isn't that all the same? And why would I even bring this up? Well, about a year and a half ago, we were in a campground up in Virginia. We were there only for 2 or 3 days. And when I went, and I wasn't using the proper type of RV toilet paper, I will admit it. We just ran out to the store and grabbed something. We needed it at a last minute item. And oh my goodness, we ended up with well, some people call them poo dams. You've got a hole that's about that big coming out of your black tank, right where the valve goes in. And a bunch of toilet paper got wadded up, stopped there, and nothing would come out of our black tank. Oh my goodness. And we were weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks before we were going to get to our final destination. I had to do something to clean it up. It's a terrible job. It's an awful job. And with that, I actually started looking at different types of things that I could use. I've talked so much about happy campers. I won't go into all that. You can see that in some other videos where I talk about the black tank. Then I started looking at RV toilet papers. And why should you look at an RV or marine grade toilet paper? The reason being is they break down so quickly. I've actually had people say, well, I've talked to so-and-so who worked at this factory and they say it's all the same. Well, let's find out. So today I'm going to look at 5 toilet papers. 2 of them are considered RV or marine grade. Some are just your bargain basement. And then I had one of my subscribers that said, hey, I know a guy that works at Scott's and he says that the marine paper in this is all the same. Well, let's find out. So why do we want to be able to look at these papers? Well, again, you want to make sure that your toilet paper breaks down. And I'm not just talking about, I'm actually talking about it like it melts, it comes apart. You want it to be able to do its job. I'm going to try to be sensitive here. You want it to do its job as a toilet paper, but after it's been used and it goes into the black tank, you want it to be able to dissolve as quickly as possible. Not only the toilet paper, but then again, I use an enzyme RV black tank product. Again, we talk about happy campers. And between the two of that, it literally liquefies it in about 24 hours. And the reason that you want something like that is you do not want wads of paper to be bound up. I was talking to a guy at a RV maintenance shop, and he was telling me about people who would come in with their black tanks and they would lose capacity over time. And here's what happens. They would use the bargain basement toilet paper or just whatever they had inside the house. And over time, it might not completely clear out of the black tank. And all of a sudden, the black tank will not clear as well. And they would try to clean it out and it wouldn't even clean. And what would happen over time, because this paper would not dissolve, it would literally start building up inside the tank and almost get hard like concrete. And it would just start consuming that black tank until it was no longer functional. And when you get something like that, a lot of times you can't even clean it out. You might be able to, your cost is going to be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars to be able to try to clean that thing out and get it functional again. If you can even do that, you might even have to replace your black tank. I know that's crazy. What should go in your black tank? Human waste and, in my opinion, RV marine grade toilet paper. You shouldn't put anything else in there. It will not break down. Why? What's the difference? Well, you only have days, usually a week, depending on the size of your black tank, days depending on the size of your black tank, for all the waste to be able to break down and dissolve. Okay, and that's very, very important. Where you have a septic system, you have a lot of water going into it, not just what comes out of the toilet, but sinks and tubs and washing machines and everything else. And over time, papers and solids have a greater amount of time to be able to break down and then be flushed out through the septic system. We as RVers do not have that luxury. We're not going to put a lot of water in the black tank. We do not have the sink going in as a rule. We don't have the sink and the tubs and all those things going in. And then after, depending on how many people are using it inside your RV and the size of the tank, 5 days, 7 days, 10 days later, it's time to be able to empty that black tank, and you want everything dissolved. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to start off with household style toilet papers. I've got brand names, I've got bargain names, and we're going to try those first. And I've got a little test that we're going to do, and I'll do a close-up on that test to be able to show you what we're going to be doing. Here's what I've got. I've got a big, kind of a Mason style clear jar, and I'll do a close-up. I'm going to put water in it. I'm going to put a sheet of toilet paper, and then I'm going to agitate it just a little bit, just like that. And then we're going to see if it even starts to break down. I know that's accelerated, but again, we need to think about 2 days, 3 days, maybe even just 1 day of you sitting inside the tank, not a lot of movement. Is it going to be able to break down? Then I've got my sink here, and just so you don't wig out, I'm going to pour it into this bowl, and then we'll start another one and see how those tests go. One other thing I want to be able to share as well. Let me pick this unit up. One of the ways that you want to see if your black tank is being properly cleared. In other words, you're seeing the materials, the solids, and those types of things. Again, I know this is this is not a subject that we want to talk about, but it's a very necessary subject. This, don't wig out that I'm not wearing gloves. This is my spare. I've got 2 of these. This is a 45-degree elbow that I place right on the edge of my tank. Okay, it's clear. And this screws onto right where the valve comes out, and then I put my sewer hose, my black tank hose, after that. So when you pull it, you can actually view through this clear window what's coming out. I know it's not a pretty thing to look at, but if you're seeing a lot of solid toilet papers and things like that and they're not dissolving, you need to think about what you're using. The other thing is that, as you're flushing this out, I've got a flusher on mine that I can hook the hose up to, another hose, a secondary hose, not my white hose. And it's got they call them scrubbers. It will scrub the tank out. It's very important to be able to do that. If you don't have that, then then as you're dumping it, go inside and, put several gallons of water through the black tank and just, get some additional water going out of the tank. And you want to be able to see those solids come out and that black tank get clear. Why is that important? If you leave it in there, and especially if you're sitting it for the winter or you're not traveling for 2 or 3 months during the summer, if you leave materials inside that tank, you have a chance that they're going to solidify and they may never come out, and that's a bad thing inside your tank. I'll put in my show notes down below. These things are just a couple dollars. They're very, very inexpensive, and it's probably one of the most useful tools that you can have inside your black tank. So several manufacturers make them, but you'll see this. One other thing I'll share with you as well. If you go to ilovervlife.com, we were getting so many questions through the channel, and thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate all my subscribers. We're heading close to 4,000 now. Thank you so much. And then there's a lot of people that don't subscribe and they send questions, especially guys who are out there are new to the RV lifestyle, and they're going, you talk about this stuff, so what should we use? So as just a convenience to all of you who are out there at ilovervlife.com, if you go there, there's an RV accessory page. And I provide a list of everything that we use. Joan and I have, everything from water hoses to the most simplest things that if you've seen them in a video, if we're using in our day-to-day life, it's things that we use and we try. Again, buyer beware. If it's not something that you think you want to use, that's okay. But you can click on those and you can buy those particular things straight through Amazon, and that's who we use to buy most of this stuff, whether we're traveling or whatever else. Okay, enough of that said. Let's start looking at some toilet papers and see what works best in the RV. Stick with me now. I really think this is going to be an interesting test. Something that's easy to find is just this bargain basement stuff. This is that $1 tissue you can find at most of your dollar stores. One of the things that I'll notice on it, it says septic safe. Again, septic system and a black tank is not the same thing. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rolls for $1. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open this up. The test isn't going to be that scientific. I'm going to use one of these kind of a clear mason jars. I'm going to fill it about halfway full of water. I'm going to put 1 sheet of paper in it, and then I'm going to go up twice. And the only reason I'm going to do that is because instead of it sitting for 24 hours and letting you see what the paper is, I'm going to try to go to just a little bit of accelerated action here to kind of cause the paper to break down or not break down, whatever the case may be. Okay, so we're going to use this first paper. This is the value paper from the dollar store. I'm going to take 1 sheet, 1 simple sheet, and I'm going to put it in the glass, and I'm going to put about a half a thing of water in it. And then just very simple, I'm going to take this and go once and twice. That's all I'm going to do to see what it looks like. So we'll do a close-up on it. If you notice, there's really not a little breakdown. There are some fibers that you're seeing loose in here, but it's still pretty much you know, a lot of solid paper. Surprisingly, I think that probably over time this dollar paper will break down a little bit. Okay, but you can see here it's still rather solid paper. Okay, so that's test number 1. Test number 2 is, you know, is it sensitive? Is it soft? You know, I'll use the inside of my arm. That's kind of soft right there, and I'll pull some of that off. It's a firm paper. It's a little rough to the touch, not quite sandy, but it's not like some of the Charmans and the Scotts and things like that that you would use at home. It is a little bit of a rough paper, but it's a rather durable paper. So this is the dollar store special, 6 rolls for $1. This is the next paper that we'll use. Again, I'm showing some of the bargain stuff first because if you're like us, we're a bit frugal in our RV lifestyle and we try to find bargains where we can. So this is what we use at our home. This is like that Members Mark. It's the Sam Special. You get the big case of 36 for like $18, $19, something like that. It's as close to something like a Scott's or a Charman that you can find. It's a very soft paper. It's 2-ply. And let's see if we can't tear a chunk of this off. It's very, very soft paper. We're going to use the exact same test. I'm going to take 1 sheet, and let me put this over here. And I'll put it in the glass, and I'm going to fill this about half full of water. Again, I haven't done this, so I don't know how these tests are going to turn out to be. I think it's going to be interesting. So we'll do 1 and then 2. And really, this is exactly what I thought would happen. There is absolutely 0 breakdown. This is still just a sheet of paper with no breakdown. I could probably, again, shake it again and shake it again, which is not what we were going to do for a test. And as you're seeing, if anything, it's wadding up. I would not want to use this in my camper whatsoever. It is still a solid sheet of paper with 0 breakdown. And this would probably be the worst paper that you should use in your RV. Matter of fact, I'll do it again. This is again outside the test norms that I was doing. And if anything, it's balling up now. It's getting even worse and worse. And if you think about how you're going to be using your toilet paper, that you would have some that you're going to be using, it's just going to ball up and knot up, and it's going to be bad. I will say this as far as the sensitivity test. Again, I'm going to use the inside of my arm since that's kind of soft. This is a very soft, fluffy paper, very comfortable paper. But even now, oh my goodness, let's see. I mean, it's literally a whole, there it finally broke a little bit once I pulled it out. But that did not break down at all. I would not want to use this in my black tank. I think that would probably cause some problems. Again, using something like the Happy Camper or some other style, there's other styles of enzymatics that are out there, might accelerate the breakdown over time. But just it standing on its own merits, I don't think this would be the best thing to use. So this is your Members Mark value 2-ply paper. So everything I've used so far has been 2-ply, okay? Now, the next one that I'll use And I'm really interested in seeing how this one's going to perform. This is Scott's Comfort Plus. This is about, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 6 rolls for about $3. The reason that I'm very interested in trying this paper out is that I was told on our channel, on the where we did the black tank, that one of the subscribers made the statement that he knows somebody that works in the Scott's factory, and they say that the Scott's Comfort Plus and your Scott's RV and boat paper is identical. Wouldn't that be interesting? Now I will share this. They're the exact same price. This is $3 for 6 rolls in most of your grocery stores. And for the RV paper that I'm using from Scott's, it runs about $2.97, buying it in a case. You can buy it at your Walmarts. We buy a case of it from Amazon, and I think it's $36 for a big case, and it runs just a few pennies under $3. So it'll be interesting to see how this performs, if it's going to be about the same. Looking at it, it looks very similar to the RV paper. And it feels about the same. So I'm going to take the one sheet, and again I'm going to put it inside my glass here, and I'm going to do the 2 shakes. There's 1 and there's 2. And I'm seeing just the slightest amount of breakdown. The slightest amount of breakdown. I'll try to swirl it a little bit. There is a little bit, but there's still, you can see, a big solid sheet. So that, you know, my subscriber here may actually be factual. This might be something very similar. We'll see what the conditions will be when we get to the RV paper. It is still a sheet. So that is not breaking down after 2 shakes. Let's just go ahead and give it the benefit of the doubt. And I'll give it another shake just to stir it up here. It is still a solid sheet. I'm not seeing any breakdown. I'm starting to see a little bit of fiber action. Okay? But so far it doesn't look like it's behaving. As a matter of fact, the dollar paper broke down better than the expensive $3 Scott. So this is the Scott Comfort Plus. As far as touch and feel, it's a very soft paper, very, very comfortable paper. It's 2-ply, it's very dense, but it's a very nice paper. But it's not behaving like what I think our Scott's RV paper will do. Again, the dollar stuff from the dollar store broke down better than this. So let's try something else. Okay, this is what Joan and I use. This is the Scott's Rapid Dissolving, and it's made for RV and boats. So you call it a marine grade or an RV grade. And this is what we use. Again, we buy it by the case. Some Walmarts carry this. I don't know if the camping stores carry it. They may or may not. I don't know. This is closest to what we have found that works like a tissue you would find in your home. And again, I'm going to take 1 sheet. I'm going to take 1 sheet here. And I am going to do the same thing that I've been doing all along. And we'll put some water in here. And we're going to see if this is going to break down. I'm going to do the 2 shakes. There's 1 and there's 2. And it's coming apart. If you'll notice, look at that. It is literally shredding with 2 shakes. I've not seen anything else break like that. So if you would think about this sitting for a 24-hour period, one I think I've actually given a 3 shake. Let me just kind of do it. I'm not going to try to disturb it as much, just to show you how this is literally coming apart. And it's just literally coming into beady chunks. What we see when we look through the elbow, this stuff is actually like little minute particles when it comes out. So again, the subscriber, if you're watching this, who said that the Comfort Plus and this is one and the same, I don't think that it is. I don't want to dispute the guy that's on the line that's running this stuff, but I mean, this is completely shredding apart and breaking into teeny bits. Look at that. You can see the bits in there just from 2 little shakes. And that other one, I actually did it, what, 3 times? And it didn't come apart. So I don't know. I kind of question whether the Comfort Plus and this RV paper is one and the same. The other thing, let's give it the application test. On the tender part of the inside of the arm, you know, this does not have that rough feel to it. It's very soft. It's a very durable paper. It's a 2-ply paper, kind of that cushiony type stuff. And we like it. I'm telling you, it works absolutely fantastic. It breaks down well, and it's a comfortable paper to use, okay? That's as far as I'm going to demonstrate. No comments. Lastly, this is a paper that we have used in a pinch. If we couldn't find it, you know, if we were out somewhere and we couldn't get an Amazon order in time and we were running by a camper store or maybe even a Walmart, we find this a lot of times. This is by Camco. You know, Camco's a big RV brand, and it's called an RV and marine toilet paper. I've never tested it other than its use. This too is in the, I don't know, $3 range for 4 rolls, okay? I know that seems a bit expensive, but when you really look at the expense of something like this in $3 for 4 rolls, oh, I forgot about this. I don't like the feel of this. It's not a comfortable paper. And they say it's 2-ply, but it doesn't seem like it. Ugh. Yeah, it is 2-ply. I think this is going to be probably and it doesn't tear well either. I'm sorry. Here we go. All right. I think this is going to be probably the least comfortable of all of them out there. It's not cushiony. It's real rough feeling. You know, if you got to use it, you got to use it, right? It's better than nothing. But let's go ahead and go through the test here and see if it breaks down. We'll put the water in here. And we're going to give it the 2 shakes. Let's see what's going to happen. 1 and 2. And there is some breakdown action that you see here. It's breaking down fairly well, I would say. I would say it's breaking down at about the same level as the Dollar Brand stuff is, okay? As far as the Dollar Brand, it's still not completely. We'll give it one more shake. I'm going to give this one the benefit of a doubt, just so that I can get some action here. And you'll see, yep, there is some breakdown. So it looks like this is true to form. It is breaking down like you would expect an RV paper to break down. Not as rapid as the Scots that I just showed, but it is breaking down. It is breaking down with just a couple shakes. There's still some pretty solid stuff. The thing that I don't like about this paper is it's very rough. I mean, it's, woo! It is not a comfortable paper to use. I mean, it's really heavy duty. It's really dense, but it's really a rough paper. How about that? You know, I've never tested that. So, what are the results here? Let me put this chart up. As far as what we're seeing works the best from a household style paper, the Simple and Smart bath tissue, the $1 for 6 rolls that we bought at the dollar store, is very comfortable and soft to use. And actually, surprisingly, there is some breakdown that occurs rather rapidly here. Not as quick as some of the RV papers, but it does break down pretty quick. The next one that we tried was the Members Mark Ultra Premium Bath Tissue. This is that bargain store stuff, 36 rolls for about $18, $19. It feels more like your premium tissues that you would use, like your Charmans, your Scots, and those types of things. Very soft, and as expected, 0 breakdown, giving it not just 2 shakes, not just 4 shakes, but 6 shakes. We never saw any breakdown, not even in the smallest amount. I definitely would not use this in my RV tank. I think that would be the worst thing that you could possibly use. And it would probably, over time, maybe not even over time, an extended period of time, it would probably clog your black tank. I'd be very cautious about that. The third paper that we tried was, again, a household grade paper. This was your Scott's Comfort Plus. And what we saw with the Comfort Plus was, and the only reason that I tried this is I had a subscriber who said they knew somebody that worked in the Scott's plant, and they said it was identical to the RV paper. It looks like the RV paper, it feels like the RV paper, it doesn't break down like the RV paper. Giving it several shakes, we saw that there was very, very little dissolving action that actually occurred from the Scott's Comfort Plus. The next one that we tried was an actual RV style paper. This is the paper that Joan and I use. We've been using it for some time, for well over almost 2 years now, after we had the little mishap up in Virginia. This is your Scott's Rapid Dissolving RV and Boat paper. This is one of the more comfortable papers that we tested when we put it on the side of our arm and rubbed it. It's a 2-ply paper. It's very soft. It's very comfortable. And it does exactly what we were hoping that it would do. It breaks down quickly. Just a couple shakes and boom, you can see the fibers breaking apart. It completely comes apart rather quickly. And we're very pleased with that. Probably the paper that we like the least and that I definitely would not use unless we were just in, you know, a situation where this was the only thing that we could buy and we're out on the road and we couldn't find a dollar store, was the Camco paper. It was the roughest of the bunch. It is a 2-ply paper, but it's very sandy-like feeling, very coarse. And then it did break down well when we gave it the shakes. The couple shakes, it did come apart rather quickly, almost comparable to the, maybe not quite as fast as the Scott's RV paper did, but I would say it was comparable to the dollar store brand. The dollar store brand came apart pretty quick, and the Camco was pretty similar to the breakdown of that. Well, we evaluated toilet paper about as safe as we could and still stay on YouTube. Again, I know that this is probably not the most exciting topic in the world that you could use, but it's probably one of the most important ones to be able to maintain your black tank and not get in trouble while you're out there with clogs, or making sure that the longevity and life of your black tank lasts a long time. And then as well as, you know, enjoying your RV trip by not using some kind of sandy, crummy, single-ply, terrible paper. Use a good quality RV marine grade paper. And what we found that we like the most, and this is after use and testing, is that the Scott's Rapid Dissolve marine grade seems to work best for us. Don't forget that item that I was showing you as well, the little elbow. If you don't have one of those at Clear Elbow, that is a lifesaver to make sure that you're getting your tanks good and clean. And you know, if you're seeing a lot of solids and materials come out after you've emptied it and you don't have a flusher, put you a couple gallons of water in the black tank and keep it going until you get all the gook out. And it's very, very important to maintain a long lifestyle. Again, you saw the at the beginning, and I will put it at the end of this video, maintaining your black tank and how to clean it. With a wand and using stuff like happy campers and things like that. I'll put that at the end of this video. If you haven't seen that, you can use that as well. So, why do we evaluate toilet papers for the RV? You know the answer. It's so simple. Because I love RV life.